Hey there, my name's Jason Cassidy, fellow co-founder and host of Blockchain TV. We're here in Toronto today, one of the biggest blockchain hubs in all of Canada and actually the whole world. We're going to be meeting some interesting people here that are making things happen in the blockchain space. Now, you haven't seen a lot of me for the first 8 episodes of the show on Blockchain TV because I've actually been up north in Northern Ontario at a lovely place called Lake Mindemoya, which is on Manitoulin Island. And I've been doing a little bit of work on a project I've been co-founding. It's an actual blockchain project in cryptocurrency called Helium. And that's where I like to go and kind of get my head straight, do a lot of deep thinking. So that is starting to go really well. You're going to see that launch in September. It's not on the Ethereum blockchain, so it's not an ERC20 token. It's not part of the Bitcoin blockchain. It's actually its own standalone blockchain called Helium. It's a fork of Dash from a technical perspective, and it's an economic fork of Spreadcoin. Now, we're not going to get into all that right now. We'll talk about that later, but trust me, you guys are going to learn a lot about Helium before that's all said and done. Let's go ahead and get on the road now. You sneakster. Hey buddy, give me some love. Nice to see you. Hey AJ, Jason, nice to meet you. So first up today on the agenda, we're going to be going and meeting Michael Gord of MLG Blockchain fame. Michael Gord is also part of the Blockchain Education Network, which is an initiative that's global in reach, and its mission statement is to raise the global consciousness of blockchain awareness through educational efforts. How big is Ben right now? Its exposure is starting to get really, I'm hearing a lot more people talk about Ben. Can you give me a little bit of insight into where Ben is right now and where you see it going in the future?
I think there's 1,800 people in the Slack channel, up from 500 last January. So it's picking up a lot. Now there's an active person, an active region head across most of North America, most countries in Europe, a lot of places in Asia.
Very
Australia.
Cool. So this is really growing.
Yeah, Ben's picking up a lot.
There's also obviously that grassroots movement with some of the education here, with the universities and getting involved in some of that work too, with the airdrops. I'm hearing a lot of people starting to get interested in that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, a lot of universities are getting involved. A lot of the clubs it's just a great way to grow your club, to give away free Bitcoin.
Yeah, that go over pretty well for most people, eh?
So we're about to go have a closed door meeting here with MLG Blockchain, Blockchain TV and Crypto Consultant. Some really good things in the works here. So we'll be right back after this delicious lunch.
Number 1 and number 2. Now that is value. You couldn't find that anywhere than Toronto, folks, okay? This is why I got up nice and early to come to Toronto. Hey there, so we're at Arkilio headquarters. Arkilio is a blockchain startup that's based on architecture, so it's looking to disrupt the architecture industry. So James and myself are here today to talk to the Arkilio team and find out what they're trying to accomplish in the blockchain space and whether that makes sense for James and myself and Blockchain TV to help them actually go ahead and ICO, which of course stands for Initial Coin Offering. So James and I are going to go up and talk to the Arkilio team right now and see what they're all about.
How's it going? I'm Craig. Nice to meet you. Come on in. Nice. Craig Fordyce. Nice to meet you. Come on in.
Even in Canada, it takes less than 2 years for an average architect to be sued because they work in these big projects, hierarchies, consultant, sub-consultant, trades. They move through all these various phases. There's constantly stream of documents that's being exchanged. And you can totally visualize how 15 years later, there's a fire and someone goes, well, who put in those lights because they're subject to recall. And now you start chasing documents, right? And you go into your basement and spilled coffee. And how do you prove that this was the set of documents and that the client actually paid you for it, right?
It's a mess, yeah.
So we sort of thought, well, that's actually very interesting. So there's definitely one problem that blockchain could obviously help because it could actually help you to effectively archive in a how should I say it? It's not a secure way. It's more archiving in a way that would be would have a importance in a court of law, because you could store hashes of the content of the documents that have been submitted with the confirmation that you've also been paid for it, right? And it's potentially the hash is stored in a public blockchain, so meaning if your company goes down, that the information still exists, and if you kept the copies of these files, you can still prove things, right? So we sort of thought that's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, I've been lucky in 11 years. I've been part of a suit once. I was fourth partied on it, so my role was very minor. And it wasn't a huge lawsuit. Like, you know, it was. I think that the client our client was sued by their neighbor for about $500,000, and it ended up shaking out at about $150,000, I think, at the end of the day. And basically, you know, we were fourth party, so I went through the whole process. And just me being fourth party, right? The documentation that we provided was 3 binders, okay, that are each about this thick. Never mind with the other parties, because there was a structural engineer, a geotechnical engineer, there was the client themselves, our client that was sued, there was a person that brought the suit forward. It was just an obscene amount of information to really, like, and that went to discoveries, then it was sort of solved and actually ended up in court, right? And that amount of information could have been significantly pared down if you actually had, you know, something that was recording all the way along. And blockchain sort of gives us that that ability, right, in terms of it being an immutable ledger. You know, it's
Okay, so we just had our meeting with Arkilio, a blockchain startup that's looking to go ahead and disrupt the architecture and construction industry. Very good conversation. There was a lot of good information shared back and forth. We talked about BIM and how IoT is going to go ahead and change fundamentally how construction projects are done in the future using blockchain technology. Doesn't mean we're going to have a client that we're going to work with. We're still in that process of filling them out. They're filling us out too, but a lot of good information and some traction made. Now we're going to go head back to Waterloo. Next week, we've got some hedge funds we're going to be meeting. These are billion-dollar hedge funds that are looking to get more involved in cryptocurrency. So they want to talk to James Gonzalez and Jason Cassidy. So stick around. We've got more action coming to you from TO.